Hi, I'm Dave Watts. Welcome to the second part of GSA 50, Setup and Management. In this session, we'll learn how to get up and running with the new Google Search appliance, from taking it out of the box and making sure it's connected properly, to monitoring basic crawl and serve. Because the GSA is an appliance, you'll configure it differently than you would a regular server. You will not have access to the operating system, and you won't need to monitor a keyboard except for troubleshooting. First, plug in both power cables and plug the Ethernet cable that will connect the GSA to the network into the yellow port labeled LAN 1. Start the GSA using the power button on the front bezel. After boot up, plug another Ethernet cable into the orange port labeled LAN 2 and plug the other end into your laptop. The GSA will issue an IP address to your laptop using DHCP. You'll then open your browser and go to the IP address and port shown here. In the browser, you'll see a configuration screen. It will ask you for basic network information. Make sure you have this ahead of time. You'll need an IP address and subnet mask, default gateway, DNS for name resolution, SMTP for sending status emails, and NTP for time synchronization. You'll also need to provide a password and email address for the initial admin account. Once you've configured the configuration screen, your settings will be tested to make sure they work. At this point, if the test succeeded, you can disconnect your laptop from the GSA. All additional configuration will be done through the GSA's regular admin web console. To access the admin console, go to port 8000 or 8443. Port 8443 uses TLS encryption. Log in with your initial admin account. One of the first things you'll want to do is install your license, which you should have received by email. The GSA ships with a temporary license that expires after 30 days. You'll also want to make sure you're running the latest software version. You can check that by clicking the About link at the bottom of every page, or by going to Version Manager on port 9941. Version Manager is used to upgrade your GSA's software. You can also enable daily status emails, which will let you know how your GSA is doing. Because you don't have access to the operating system, you may encounter problems you can't solve yourself. You can enable remote support on your GSA so that Google can solve these problems for you. There are two common remote support options. The first, and oldest, is to allow Google support to connect directly to the GSA via Secure Shell or SSH. In this case, port 22 needs to be opened on your firewall when you have a problem. The second, and the one we recommend, is Support Call. With Support Call, the GSA connects to Google's support network instead of the other way around. This usually works without requiring any firewall changes. If you plan to use Support Call, test it immediately after setting up your GSA. Don't wait until you actually have a problem. If you do have a problem with your GSA, you'll need to open a ticket in the Enterprise Support Portal. Make sure you've received an email with credentials for the portal. If you haven't, send an email to enterprise-operations@google.com asking for portal access. Let's take a look at some of the things we just talked about. First, to install your license, log into your admin console and upload the license file. Now, on this appliance, the license has already been installed. So I'll go to Administration, License, and I can see that I have a 2 million document license that will expire in 631 days. When I receive the permanent license, I would download it to my computer, use the Choose File dialog, and then upload the file to the appliance. View it, and then save it. To view software version information, I can click on the About page link at the bottom of any page in the admin console. This will show basic version information. For more information, I can log into Version Manager with my admin credentials. I must use the original admin account to access Version Manager. Next, let's check out remote support. We can enable port 22 for SSH, or we can use support call. In many cases, all we have to do is test support call to make sure that it can connect to supportcall.google.com. Click the test button to do this. Finally, we can open a support ticket. To do this, log into the Enterprise Support Portal, click Cases, then fill out the form to create a new case. Provide as much detail as possible. The more you tell Google, the quicker your case will be resolved. We'll talk about configuring crawl and serve in the next section. Once you've done that, you might find it useful to make sure your GSA keeps crawling and serving properly. An easy way to do this is to create a unique document for the GSA to index, change the content of that document frequently, and search for the unique terms in this document to make sure the index has been updated. This process can be automated, of course. This concludes our second presentation, Setup and Management. Thank you for watching, and make sure to watch the other GSA 50 presentations.